Hey guys, it's Kessie Cats and Camera, and today I'm doing the Netflix book tag with a little bit of a twist. I'm gonna talk about some stuff I watch on Netflix as well, so it's kind of half a recommendations video, I guess. So this was created by A Darker Shade of Whitney, who obviously I will leave below the original. Check it out. Question 1 is recently watched, the last book that you finished reading. And for me, that is Rabbit and Robot by Andrew Smith. In terms of Netflix, I've just finished watching Elite, which is a Spanish TV show. It's compared to Gossip Girl meets Pretty Little Lies or something like that. I've never seen either one of them. I might have been making up that name. I've heard of Gossip Girl, Pretty Little Lies, who knows. But yeah, apparently it's like that, but it's really good. And it's high school, posh, and there's a murder, and you don't know who's done it throughout the series. And also, I randomly started watching Atypical last night because I stayed up all night because I've got to leave at 3 AM tomorrow morning. So I stayed up all night so I could sleep. Yeah, that makes sense. Question 2 is top picks. A book that's been recommended to you based on other books you've read. Honestly, I can't remember anybody's recommendations. Apart from I did a graphic novel recommendations video and someone recommended me Sheltered, so I literally bought this because somebody mentioned it, so I guess it fits this category. And Netflix keeps recommending me a bunch of stuff that everybody has probably seen. Series of Unfortunate Events, I want to read it first. Atypical, I did actually start that yesterday, but it has been recommended to me a lot, so that makes sense. And Dark, which is something I do have on my watch list, I just haven't got around to it yet. Question 3 is recently added, the last book you bought. For me, that's Vintage, A Ghost Story by Steve Berman. This is a gay ghost story, that's all I know. And with Netflix, the most recent thing I've added is 22 July, which, if you know me, talked about One of Us, the book. I'm actually going to mention it later on in this video, about the mass shooting in Norway a few years ago, and I noticed that there's a film on Netflix about it, so I added it even though I'm not emotionally ready yet, but I will be. Question 4 is popular on Netflix. Books that everyone knows about, 2 that you've read and 2 that you haven't or don't plan to. For some reason I've gone fantasy on this one, so I've read Six of Crows and A Darker Shade of Magic. And I haven't read or plan to read Illuminae or the Throne of Glass series or Furyborn or Three Dark Crowns. That's not 2, but you get the gist. On Netflix, I guess, popular stuff I have watched, Orange is the New Black. I haven't finished it yet, but I've got most of the way through that. And Riverdale, obviously, it's trash, but we all like it. I also watched the To All the Boys I Loved Before film, but I don't plan on reading the book. I like them sort of films, but I don't think the book really does it for me. But because of that and Sierra Burgess is a Loser, I do kind of have a thing for Noah Centineo. He's really cute. And I haven't watched, well, technically I have watched a few episodes, but Stranger Things, I just never got into it. I watched like 3 or 4 episodes and it just never carried on, so obviously it didn't grab me as much as it does everybody else. 5 is comedies, a funny book. And for that one, I'm going with Whatever or How Junior Year Became Totally Fucked by S.J. Gosley. Netflix, I really enjoyed the film Game Over Man. I didn't expect to find it as funny as I did. It was hilarious. I've also watched the first one of the 4 James Acaster specials. He is an English comedian who I guess is kind of niche, but he's really funny. And The Good Place. I've watched the first season and some of the second season, but I didn't carry it on. Sometimes I love binging shows and sometimes I binge it so much that I have to stop watching it for ages because it's too much. I did that with Orange is the New Black as well. I watched like 3.5 seasons, then I left it for about 6 months because I couldn't handle anymore because it was just too much. Question 6 is dramas. A character who is a drama king or queen. Who's a bigger drama king than Apollo from A Trials of Apollo? A drama, this is not really drama, it's more like kind of weird vibes, but it might be good for Halloween. If you haven't watched Boys in the Trees, the film, you should watch it. And you should also watch the short film The Last Time I Saw Richard, which kind of has the same vibe because it's the same person that did it. They were meant to carry on from each other, but they kind of didn't because they left too much of a gap in between, so the actors were older and stuff. But it's got kind of a creepy vibe. Not really a drama, but it's a fun film. Boys in the Trees. And 13 Reasons Why I enjoyed the TV show more than the book. So question 7 is animated, a book with cartoons on the cover. Hero by Parry Moore. And it's a good job we got to this cartoon bit because I am a sucker for cartoons. With Netflix, I can add a ton of things. I can literally be on there for an hour and be like, that looks really good, but I'm not in the mood right now. Add it to my watch list. Oh, that looks interesting, but not right now. but then I see a cartoon and I'm like, put it on. So if you haven't seen The Dragon Prince, watch that. It's awesome. There's only 1 season. I need more now. If you haven't seen Disenchantment, watch that. That's a whole barrel of laughs. And if you haven't seen Final Space, then definitely check that one out as well, because that's really funny. Question 8 is watch it again, which is a book or book series that you want to reread. This will not surprise anyone. All for the game. I have reread it this year, but I want to do it again because I love it. And with watch it again, I have half rewatched The Nowhere Boys, which is kind of this really lame Australian kids show. It's really cool, but it's really lame as well. You should check it out, The Nowhere Boys. It's good. And I also have stuff like Skins and Shameless USA and Hemlock Grove on my watch list, even though I've already seen it before, so I guess that means it's rewatchable. Question 9 is documentary, non-fiction books you would recommend to anyone. And I mentioned it earlier in the video, One of Us by Asna Sierstad. This, again, like I mentioned, is about the mass killing in Norway in 2011. It made me cry when I reviewed it. It stuck with me for ages. I couldn't read another true crime book for a long ass time just because how this one made me feel. And yeah, I'm kind of very apprehensive about watching the film just because of how much this made me feel. And documentaries, I don't really watch that many on Netflix, so I'm going to kind of cheat and say American Vandal, even though it's a mockumentary. I love it. And also, again, another one that's not actually a documentary, but I'm just going to throw it in here because it's kind of got vibes of it. Mindhunter. Where is season 2 of that? Are they doing a season 2? I really hope so, because I loved that show. Question 10 is action and adventure, an action-packed book. And for this one, I'm going with Heirs of Power by Kay MacLeod. Lots of fight scenes, lots of cool powers, lots of sarcastic banter. That's all you need. Another thing that I don't really watch much on Netflix is action stuff, but I do really like Spartacus. I haven't finished it, but it's good. It's very bloody. And I guess I can chuck Scorpion in here, maybe? It's kind of like CSI, but for computery stuff instead of dead people stuff. It's pretty cool. It's fun. Question 11 is new releases, a book that has just come out or will come out soon that you want to read. I'll say Bill Konigsberg's new book. It's called The Music of What Happens. I really like Bill Konigsberg, so I'm looking forward to that one. Also, today I saw Maggie Stiefvater post on Instagram a picture that just said the end, which means she's got to the end of the first Ronin book, so that will hopefully be coming out soon. Yes. And the newest release I've watched would be the first episode of season 3 of Riverdale. Kind of weird. We're getting some vibes. I know there's a new Sabrina show that's going to come out soon, so I feel like it's going to interconnect. This first episode definitely showed that that's a possibility. Question 12 is Max. Tag some people. I have no idea what Max is. I seem to remember it's some sort of thing that gives you recommendations on Netflix. I don't know if it's an American thing. I don't know what it is. But I'll tag some people below. But yeah, I hope I've mentioned most of the stuff I watch on Netflix, or at least a bunch of it, because like I said earlier, I do have a tendency to just go through and add stuff to my watch list and I never watch anything. But since I got a bullet journal, actually, I've started watching more stuff, which is random but cool. And yes, I've got a lot to catch up on, so yeah, tell me down below any of your answers for this, or give me some recommendations on Netflix. I will probably already have it on my watch list, I just haven't got to it yet, but let me know anyway. Obviously, UK Netflix. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others, and if you continue to enjoy them, then please subscribe, that'd be awesome. Anyway guys, I will see you in a few days after I come back from Ireland with another video. Bye.